My favorite thing about Shipt since I signed up for Target Circle 360? No price markups when I order same-day delivery from tons of local stores. Only a handful of alcohol retailers and items don't count. I won't lie, I've had too much fun being like, markups on groceries? Not in my fridge. Markups on pet food? Not for my DOG. Markups on tools, electronics, home goods, meds? Not in my house. Anyway, it's awesome. Order now at shipt.com/360. Terms apply.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country. Anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. Goldbelly ships Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garden's famous cakes. So, if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT. That's goldbelly.com, promo code GIFT.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's this time of the day, stroke week and month that we like to say,
Welcome to Eejits of the World!
With you,
Glenn Wool and you.
Andrew Maxwell.
Okay.
All right, and what? We have a special treat for our friends,
Yeah.
do we not, Mr. Glenn?
Usually it is current events
Yes.
that we find Eejits in. The freshest Eejits that we can possibly bring to you. But,
Ripe grapes straight off the vine.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
in this case, these Eejits have been sitting in amphorae for, in
Yes.
some case, thousands of years.
Waiting.
Waiting, because it is indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the second edition of what we like to call
Eejits of History! Bum, bum, bum! Gong!
for our listeners. Mr. Glenn just banged an invisible gong.
Yeah.
So big it made him vibrate.
Yes.
What a show we have for you today. What have we got, Mr. Glenn?
We have the Eejits of Australian Architecture.
Woo!
G'day, Sporto.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Eejits of disgusting medieval German death.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Eejits of kamikaze assassins of Japan porn stars.
Crikey. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Eejits of the American shadowy elite.
That's a shadow puppet.
Mr. Glenn, do you have a first history story of Eejits for me?
I do. It's about the iconic Sydney Opera House.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, I looked into it, and it is packed with just crazy thoughts. Because in 1963,
A great year.
the people of Australia thought to themselves, we need an opera house, but we don't know how to build one. So we're going to have a contest and let architects from all over the world submit. And it just, that sentence alone, because you've been to Australia.
Many, many happy times.
And there's so much going on in that sentence, because some of it I believe and some of it I don't. Like, first of all,
I've got some questions.
I can't imagine the Australian people going, we need an opera house. That's it, mate. We've bloody run out of time to not have one.
Think about what we have, mate. We've got some of the greatest sporting arenas in the world. The MCG, the Gabba. Oh yeah, we've got the SCG. We've got some of the best in the world. But I'll tell you what we're lacking: an opera house.
It's bloody right. And at this point too, what I believe in the sentence is that they didn't know how to make one.
I don't even know how you begin.
No, they had no clue. Right. They knew how to build a opera house so little that they hired And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly because he's one of these Danish guys that likes to cross his O's. So
yeah.
I don't even know what your name is. Jorn Utzen. But they hired him.
Right.
And he was a good architect, but you know what he'd never made before?
What?
An opera house. So,
But I mean, how often are opera houses made? Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you take right, Sydney Opera House is built in what 60s, 70s?
well, it took it.
Right,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, it's somewhere around then. I mean, when was the last one before that, mate? I mean, 1820s in Milan. You know what I love when the big fat ladies sing. Right?
Yeah.
I can
or
see.
the castratis.
So willowy, so airless. You know.
I like to get close so I can smell them.
So hard to define. Like I know posh Aussies, but posh Aussies just go sailing.
Yeah.
It's just that they do a different type of outdoor activity.
So maybe if we had an opera house that looked like a sailboat, we could trick posh Aussies. I mean, it was bloody what?
No, there's this one of those ones. A posh Australian, Glenn, is, if I may call you that, that's the sound of posh, the ABC. We are the national voice of Australia. That's what it was. That's the guy that would have been hoodwinked.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. I believe, Catherine, there seems to be an opera house. In the shape of 5 of my favourite things. Boats and a bar. Come on, anyway.
So they hire Jorn Utzen.
Who's from?
Yeah, Denmark.
Right.
And he does
Classic
not,
opera people.
He does not know how to make an opera house. So they run the budget up 1,000%. Over, they go over budget because a lot of the things he had to invent his ideas. They're like, well, you drew a really nice drawing. Like, how do you do it? I don't know.
I don't know. I was drunk when I did it. And I woke up and I've made a sailboat.
Yeah. I was drawing a robotic cat and peeping over a fence.
You see, what I always led to believe, I always thought that it sails. That's what it represents. Sydney Harbour is obviously millions of boats of all types in there. But apparently it's shells.
Oh.
Yeah. That's where they're meant to be shells.
Right.
I mean, they're both kind of sea-based.
Yeah, yeah.
And I suppose if you hold a boat up to your ear, it doesn't make a noise. Where shells do.
Do you have little operas come out of your shells?
La, 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 la. It's my favourite one. No, maybe if you hold little opera singers up to you hold their hole up your ear. I don't know. God damn it. Go on, sorry.
So they got to get rid of Jan because you're Jorn, and you know we love a good name in this podcast.
The Eejits of the world loves a good
They
name.
have to bring in an acoustic engineer, the finest in the land, the finest in the world.
We woke him up. Trevor, you got a job, mate.
No, they got him.
Get your tuning fork out.
I don't know where they got this guy from. It's not even clear, but his name was Lothar Kramer.
Oh, yeah.
Did he slide through the door and ask for Jerry?
Lothar Kramer.
Lothar Kramer. The finest acoustic man in the world.
My thighs are my tuning fork. I splay myself as wide as I can possibly go, as wide as the Danube.
Which I may or may not be from.
Yes, exactly. I'm actually from Rhineland, but don't tell anyone. It's quite shameful in blue collar.
Everybody needs to be from somewhere.
Yes, exactly. Some people are Lothars, some people are Kramers. I'm a Lothar and a Kramer. Anyway, so Lothar Kramer, he comes in.
He comes in. They don't fix it. They hang a bunch of shit in there. It is to this day a terrible place to see an opera, which has never come up because I don't think anybody's ever gone to see an opera there.
I've never... Listen, there's terrible traffic around central Sydney. But it's usually when there's a big sporting event on. No, I've never been stuck in the opera jam before.
Maybe that's what the only thing they could get, like, okayed. Like, well, anything else will cause traffic. I got an idea. Why don't we put an opera house in there?
It's going to be... It's traffic-wise, it's going to be like a parliament.
It actually lessened traffic.
There's nobody around. Sometimes we don't even put the opera on. We just got a fat chick in a helmet. And people look... Jesus Christ. Thought me dad fought them.
Who won the bloody war?
Exactly. Wasn't in the jungles of Borneo fighting for me life. So 10 years later I was going to have to doff me cap to a giant Teutonic maiden.
2.5 months out from Anzac Day. No, thank you.
Well, I don't think so, mate. But it's spectacular. Both also have graced the stage.
Yes, and it was bad sound. The mic didn't work properly. That was my big story for the Sydney Opera House. I was in Canada,
right?
And my next gig was there. I was and I can't remember. I think I was in Edmonton, going from a club to the hotel. And the cab driver was overly chatty, and he was like, "Hey, what do you do for a job? What's your job?" And I was like, "I'm a comedian." And he's like, "No, you're not." Like, would not believe it.
No.
Yeah, totally. Like, oh, okay, but like sometimes people are like incredulous, but he was like, "Hey, knock it off. You're not a comedian." And I was like, "I am."
That's great. That's great. Totally denying you.
Yeah. And I didn't even want this conversation. And then he's like, "Okay, where's your next gig?" And I had to say, "It's at the Sydney Opera House." He drove quietly after that, like, "Oh, geez, we've got a real nut in the back now.
This guy's a bit loose in his shell."
Yeah. Somebody's got a little bit of the ice in their head's getting a little thin. Mm-hmm. Don't walk on there.
Don't walk under the icicle again, buddy. Got hit with 20 stone of ice.
Oh, yeah.
He's not the brain surgeon he used to be.
Oh, no.
He calls it the noggin now.
Yeah, he's still pretty good on a Friday night for hockey. You know, he gets in a fight, he doesn't feel it.
He feels nothing.
No, not a thing.
He's the king of the goons.
Yeah, that's right. He can't throw a punch, but what he does, he just acts as like a big sack. The people just tire themselves out on his head, and you know, it's a kind of a win.
I love it though. I mean, it's one of the things with Sydney Opera House, when it was originally built, there was a load of poo-pooing from the great and the good. Exactly like the Eiffel Tower. When the Eiffel Tower was put up in Paris, all the great and the good hated it. Campaigned for years. Very aggressively campaigned for years to try and get it torn down. But people kept showing up because it's awesome. Yeah. Just like the Sydney Opera House. Do I care for operas? Not as much as I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I look like a full-on aficionado of the opera.
Yeah, and I look like a participant.
You sure do. You sure do. And have you at the back there. Some sort of gremlin in a German opera.
With a trident. I don't know what that is.
Anyway, opera. It's so this man, what's his name? Jörn
Utzon.
He was eventually, finally, a long time later, finally recognised and was given I believe it's the Pritzker Award.
Oh, right.
Which is the Oscars or
because
Nobel Prize of Architecture.
At the heart of it, it did what he said it would do. It is the number one, it's the thing it's the structure you identify Australia with in your head.
Yeah, there's basically two. There's that and there's Uluru.
Yeah, he didn't make that.
No, he didn't make Uluru. But they can't take the Opera House away from us.
And you're not supposed to climb on the Opera House.
You're not going to climb on either of them. We actually broke out into the balcony. I was doing a show there And we went around because the offices there actually face onto the harbour, which is one of the world's great views.
Yeah.
And we just kept trying all the offices till we found one that was opened, and we just drank and look over the...
Beautiful. Yeah.
And although I don't know any opera, in my heart was singing with opera.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a lovely story, Andrew.
Thank you. Do you have anything else on this topic? Or
No, I think that's...
It's a fucking ridiculous state of affairs.
Yeah.
There is, the thing is, there's a giant yellow thing that hangs out of the ceiling.
Yeah.
It looks like some sort of Mobius strip stroke twiglet.
Yeah.
But apparently, I mean, we can only take the word of Lothar Kramer on this, but apparently it somehow gives it acoustics.
And it doesn't work. It cost $1 million. And that's not that's not soaking up anything.
Yeah. But it does look like a bit of bullshit public art.
Yeah.
But at least in Australia...
Well, that's all it is now.
Yeah, that's Australia, we take it seriously. Public art, we hang it up. String it up. Boys, this big yellow monstrosity's not going to be on a roundabout anymore, I can tell you that for nothing.
We'll put it in our opera house that doesn't work.
Now, Mr. Glenn, I have a tale for you.
Okay.
This is an astonishing piece of medieval history. How are you how much of a medieval history buff are you?
I'm not an expert, but I dabble.
Right. Well, hopefully you've never heard of this. The Erfurt latrine disaster.
I've had a few.
You better believe it. The spicy food of Germany. I have the paprika shits. What? This sausage has some mustard on it. You know, watch out tomorrow. It's going to be like a doodle bug smashing through your porcelain. Have you any idea? Have you any guesses? Because this is such an astounding but genuinely true story. Any guesses what the Erfurt latrine disaster could be about?
No.
Well, let us begin. 'Tis the year 1184. Anno Domini, the year of our Lord.
Wow.
'Tis the 26th of July. So hot. Just bear that in mind.
Yeah.
Just think of how sticky and hot Central Europe can be in high summer. You get where we're coming from here.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you a little bit of background. I'm painting a picture for you.
That's so long ago, too. I didn't even know they had latrines.
Well, let us continue.
Right.
King Henry VI of Germany.
He did it?
Well, listen, it gets going. There's a lot more. He was the King of Germany and later went on to be the Holy Roman Emperor.
Oh.
So he's a big wig.
Yeah.
Big wig.
Double threat.
Double threat, absolutely. He had two very important people in his kingdom who were beefing.
Okay.
Yes, they were feuding. It was Louis III of Thuringia.
Okay.
And a.k.a. Louis the Pious, a.k.a. Louis the Mild.
Wow.
I know, it's not, as a medieval king, it's not.
Is Billy the Bully who he's he's feuding with? Because who feuds with Louis the Mild?
Louis the Mild.
Leave me alone.
I don't know, 3 out of 5? Louis, all your reviews are 3 out of 5.
Everything's just good and bad.
It seems okay. I mean, both sides have good policies. Anyway, I don't know. Louis the Pious, Louis the Mild, I don't know why he was called that. Anyway. So he's beefing with Archbishop Conrad of Mainz.
All right.
Ah, right. So there's who you got to remember in the Holy Roman Emperor, many of the bishoprics were also temporal powers themselves.
Yeah, I know.
Please. Didn't know that. Did not know that.
I don't even know what it means.
Right. Well, these weren't just Catholic archbishops. Sometimes they were a temporal power. They had their own lands.
Right.
They were like a king or a duke in their own right.
A double threat in their own right.
Oh, 100%. Anyway, so he decides, Henry VI of Germany, he decides that he's going to have a Hoftag. That's a sit-down. A parlay, yeah? He's going to have a sit-down with the guys.
Yeah.
So
See if we can sort this out.
see if we can, sort out.
Yeah.
So he arranges that everybody's going to meet in the Peterburg Citadel in Erfurt.
Okay.
Right. He brings all...
Good as place as any.
What?
Good as place as any.
It's a good spot. It's right by the motorway.
Yeah.
It's got a regional airport, Ryanair flying into it.
Yeah.
So, this is such a crazy story. So, all these bigwigs, right? So, all over the land.
Yeah.
All the dukes and barons and earls and, you know what I mean? All the bigwigs. So, basically, all the dudes that would be either in Louis the Mild's category or Archbishop Conrad of Mainz's category. Yeah?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He has hundreds of these nobles travel from all over the land. And they have this Hoftag, this sit down, and there's the king and there's all the bigwigs.
Yeah.
Right?
Terrible time to try and get into the brothel.
Oh, no. Not today, boys.
Yeah, no locals allowed.
There's a royal elector coming to town.
Yeah. If anybody could just bring their wife, if anybody's looking to earn a little extra, you bring your wives or some of your pretty farm animals. We got a lot of ugly dudes in ornate hats coming.
You better believe it. If you got a shepherdess that's maybe not pulling her weight, like, this is the time.
Yeah, get her and 3 of your sheep down here.
Right. This is, no matter how fucking gross you think you're being, this story's about to take a sharp, gross, hard right turn. So all these nobles come from all over Germany, right?
All right.
So now they're in the citadel, the castle.
Yeah.
And they're on the second floor, where the big hall is, the grand hall.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's going great. Everybody's starting to get along. All of a sudden there's a creak. The whole floor collapses and all the hundreds and hundreds of noblemen fall directly into the cesspit directly beneath.
That's where I'd keep that.
Well, it was the Middle Ages. They didn't know what to do with shit. So there's a giant hole of liquid shit. Right? Everybody collapses into it. Right? And they estimate 60 to 100 of the noblemen drowned in liquid shit.
And had the castle been to Mexico?
No, it's just the Middle Ages, dude. Everywhere was Tijuana. The whole world was Tijuana, dude. Right? So the king, he survives because he was weirdly, him and the archbishop had gone to a corner of the room to sort of conspire. So they were stood in a nook. So they were saved. And so was the other dude. Louis the Mild, he was saved, but like 60 to 100 of them just drowned over a lot. Because nobody could swim then as well.
Yeah, Vincent the swimmer was saved.
I treadeth the waters.
And Dorothy did boldly rise from the steaming sewage, for Vincent the swimmer was saved. Brave Vincent the swimmer.
Yes. Sir Baldric, he sank like a stone. They all went down. Nobody could swim, and nobody knew what to do with poos after they come out of you in the 11th century.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Was that like 100 nobles just died, including the wonderfully named Burkhard von Wartburg. Burkhard von Wartburg.
And who
Burkhard, no! Meine Liebchen!
Who had to inform the von Fartbergs of their father's demise?
I am sorry, you have been...
We thought that the seer was joking because of our names.
I see, no, it's pretty amusing. berg means mountain and fart means fart. So, we get it. And von means from, so we're from the fat mountain. And, we're not stupid. Well, we told Burkhardt, be careful,
Yeah, it was very clear, but now we see it.
We didn't know what a brown river meant. What could possibly a brown river be? Incredible.
We couldn't locate it on any maps. We thought he was drunk, but now he was very accurate.
But it's basically it's the plot of King Ralph, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the nobles in the land are disposed.
That's how the Windsors took power.
Maybe it's where
or the Hanovers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some of their ancestors might have been swimming in the shit.
Yeah, lizards don't die. They're mud skippers.
Ridiculous.
The Hanovers mud skipped across that shit river into the English throne.
Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, it's maybe it's where the idea of the trapdoor came from.
Or the oubliette.
Well, yeah. Which means I forget to forget.
The place where you go to forget, or where you send somebody
to forget about him.
Yeah.
But you're not going to forget a guy as he's splashing around in a swimming pool of turds. Like, you're never forgetting that guy.
You're gonna hope you put him in, like, if it's deep enough that he'll drown, because you don't want him like up to his waist just every time you're pooing, going, come on, let me out.
Guys, I'm so sorry. Just loads of dudes just up to their mouths. Just please, no, Gunter. Don't have to pump a nickel. I'm hungry. What can I do? The dumplings and the pumpernickel, they're in here now.
And one guy's just resigned playing the waiting game. You know what? Have it. Have more. I just want to die. I'm stuck in your shit till you shit more.
I still couldn't work out what was the sort of, the actual... And, the civil engineering of it all. Like, so what happens? Your shit and your piss goes into the basement, basically. Then what? Why does it not drain away somewhere? Why wouldn't you have it drain away?
Why are you saving it?
Yeah. What for? Why wouldn't you drain it away into the moat?
Yeah.
Nobody's attacking a castle that's surrounded by a ring of shit. Particularly in late July.
That's why no one's ever been to Sunderland.
Oh yeah, I see. Trying to win over the people from Middlesbrough, are you?
Yeah. I know which side my bread's buttered on.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, and can you still go to this day and lay a roll of toilet paper for the fallen monarchs?
Oh, such a terrible... I mean, the Middle Ages, there's so many bad ways to die.
Yeah.
The plague? The plague.
I would prefer the drowning and shit to the plague.
But the reality is, there was every one of them who drowned in the shit pool. They would have survived a plague.
Yeah.
Right? My life has been so lucky in the Lao,
I think if you got out of it, there's a lot of things you would survive after you dipped yourself in medieval poo. He had one of the finest, what do you call it, the fight disease. Immune system.
The fight's disease.
Yeah, we'll save that in the edit.
Yes, there was Carl of the white blood cell. He seemed okay. He was swimming around in it. He was playing Marco Polo. Marco! That's not how it's pronounced, guys. That's not the game. You have to say polo. Not...
It's not important who he is.
It's really not important.
Yeah, you'll know. One day you'll know.
Well, you won't know fuck all because you're dead as a doornail.
Right. Yeah, you're all dead.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's. I mean, the Middle Ages, the bubonic plague. You know, there's so many dreadful things.
Yeah.
But it's weird the way, like, it's from the exact same era. The tale of the Pied Piper is not, you know, Hamelin's not that far away in Germany from Erfurt.
Ah.
It's also from the 11th century. Everybody's heard about the Pied Piper. But for some reason, nobody's telling their children at bedtime the story of the Erfurt latrine disaster. But we are, because you know what? We're public historians.
First comedians second.
First and foremostly.
Yeah.
We let our passion decide what we do.
Well, that's how you know that time of the world was terrible. Because that's the story we know of, like the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Is like the children's story that came out of it.
Yes.
All the rats died, and then all the children died. Go to sleep.
Okay. That's enough fun for today. Tomorrow I will tell you about the man trapped in the prickly bush. Fucking Germans. Oh my God. Got better. I'll tell you what, they have got. You got to admit, they became better builders and engineers after that.
Yeah. Well, you have to. You either resign yourself to like, well, this is going to happen again, or if it's never going to happen again. So what do we want? What kind of society do we want to live in?
One with really good cars. And I think that starts with not drowning in shit.
Yeah,
it does. But nevertheless,
reward.
We wish you all the very best, the people of Erfurt.
Yeah,
I have absolutely no doubt that you've got a lovely town square, a beautiful Gothic cathedral of some sort, and an excellent brewery. An excellent brewery.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the beer is probably pretty good there.
Pretty good. Well,
yeah, brewed in the
traditional way. We keep it in the basement.
Yeah. You know how some people make whiskey in sherry casks?
Yes.
We brew the beer. I don't know if it's the dead bodies or the sewage that are still in those walls, but you can really taste it in every sip.
Yes. The experts call it peaty.
Yeah, he was in there. Petey?
He couldn't swim.
Yeah, Petey could not swim.
No. Sadly, no. Well, there you go. Well, that's it. And that is history.
Yeah.
That's some history right there.
Excellent.
Do you have a historical tale for me?
I do. And this came from Japan, of all places.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The land of the rising sun. Mm-hmm. Nippon. Yeah.
In the 60s, there was a politician named Yoshido Kodama.
Gotcha.
Turned out to be a spy for American business interests. And he was...
what sort of business interest?
Lockheed Martin.
Oh, arms.
Yes, and he was making the Japanese buy these planes because it was his decision. But he got caught... And the Japanese people were really upset at him to a point where it was there was protests like in front of his house. Like, right. You know, you like now politicians, it's like, okay, you might get in the paper or something. But no, like protests. And there was a large portion of Japanese society that just expected him to commit harikari over it.
Right.
Like, they were like, here, we'll get you the sword. You have really dishonored yourself.
That's where you take a ceremonial sword.
Yeah.
And you perform the rite of Harry Styles and Carrie from Sex and the City.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, right? That's where those stories came from.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So and I'm not opposed to that as a punishment for politicians, but you know,
right?
We'd need a long sword for Boris, but
maybe just put him sheathe him permanently in a giant condom. That'll slow him down. So what happens? So this guy.
So
Well,
Japan.
so far so normal. We've got a crooked businessman stroke politician.
Yeah.
Right.
Japan is in a tizzy. In comes Mitsuyasu Miyano.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
What I love
That's
about-
exactly how you pronounce that, by the way.
What I do like about Japanese as a language, it is quite easy. You know what I mean? It's just whatever that syllable looks like. Just say that syllable.
And try to make like do a little Japanese impression. And then,
Yamamoto. Like, you know what I mean? It's all pretty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is very pretty.
Sure is. That was particularly when them flowers and stuff. The cherry blossoms. That's nice.
In March.
Go on.
So he's really incensed by this.
Yes.
And he is.
And who's he? Who's this guy?
He's an actor, porn star. He's in some sort of B movies too, and he's just got his pilot's license, or it was unclear, but he was playing pilot, so he got a pilot license, and he was in a lot of movies. So he gets he snaps. He goes down to the airfield, gets in a plane. Other Japanese guys that have hatched the plan with him, they all put on the Rising Sun the headbands. And
A kamikaze pilot.
That's right. And they all went and saluted him as he climbed into a Cessna and yelled "Bonsai" in the kamikaze way.
Like a kamikaze pilot would.
Yeah. And he and Mitsuyashu flew to Yoshida's house and kamikazed him.
What?
He kamikazed his house.
No alarm bells were rung at any time. Man shows up, like 15, 20 years after the Second World War, dressed as a kamikaze pilot. Right?
I'd just like to borrow that plane. Okay, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, seems quite in order. He's like dressed as a kamikaze pilot
with other kamikaze pilots, like bonsai, but shh, okay, nobody bonsai. I'm gonna go and rent the thing. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
No, I won't be paying the deposit. No, I would not like the extra insurance. No, I'm not scared of scraping it. Tires and paintwork, I don't care about.
What's that? Yeah. Oh, yes, I am. No, I'm not a kamikaze. Sorry.
I'm just playing the role of a man. I'm just dressed like a man that is planning to commit suicide by flying a plane into a thing. But it's because just don't judge people by what they look. That's the message here.
It has nothing to do with me renting a plane. This is my job.
Is that what he said? Like, as an actor?
Yeah,
presumably
I don't know
he
why,
must have tried to pull it off like that, right?
Must have, yeah.
I mean, some alarm bell must have gone off.
Here's how you know he was an actor. He missed. He died in a fiery crash. He missed kamikazing a guy in a Japanese house. Like those are paper and wood affairs.
They are traditionally, particularly if you're like a right wing Japanese politician, you're going to be in a traditional house, aren't you?
Yeah. He basically flew a plane into a big kite and still couldn't kill a guy. He missed the guy who lived in the kite.
I flew my blowtorch into a giant box of matches. Wow.
Yeah.
So he didn't. So his intended, the corrupt politician. What happened to him?
He lived. He made it, and Mitsuyashu died instantly. Couldn't they weren't even sure it was him.
Wow. Yeah. Well, futile gestures. This is the porn. Are you talking about? Is this? There's a thing in Japan, right, in the 60s that it was called Roman porno.
Wow.
Yeah. A Roman porno was basically their equivalent of softcore. You know what I mean? Of sort of, Emmanuel kind of movies.
Oh, yeah.
That sort of thing. But it's gonna. Japan's got a weird. You can definitely see that filth, but you can't look at that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's a drawing of an octopus.
Yeah. Oh, a wood carving of an octopus defiling the schoolgirl.
Yeah, of course. It's a wedding. What else would you have as a centerpiece?
But yeah, but this genre at the height of it in the 60s and 70s, Roman porno, softcore, of which it's one of the things that it was most famous for was they were all obviously everybody's naked because they're it's soft porn, but they didn't have the technology at the time to pixelate things.
Right.
Or fogging, which is another term for it, right? So everybody just stood behind lamps. and
Austin Powers.
Yeah, for real. And candelabras and shit like this. Brilliant. So much better. Just turns and jugs and
one poor guy with just a candle extinguisher. That's all he needs. Like, why are you in porn, sir?
I seem to have been snuffed out by nature. Presumably, they must have done a bit of shadow work. Also, Austin Powers style.
Yeah.
Behind a paper wall.
Oh, country's behind a paper wall in that year.
Oh, it's all happening there. But it was 2/3 of all movies in that era in Japan were Roman pornos.
Wow.
So this guy would have been
Must have been, yeah.
Pretty damn famous. So this is it just makes the story even more insane. This isn't just a dude who's shown up as a kamikaze pilot to rent a plane. He's shown up as a famous porn star. He's shown up as a kamikaze pilot to rent a plane.
So when maybe everyone's in the office is like, okay, well, you stand in front of the lamp and pull your pants down. We all want to get a picture of you.
This makes it so weird. Nobody went, hey, the man.
Yeah.
Probably nothing.
Well, I mean, if you knew who he was, then you'd just be like, well, who knows what he's up to? But you probably wouldn't piece together that, oh yeah, he's probably gonna go kill that shamed politician with a plane.
It's a pretty long stretch, I would have thought. But I really feel the whole kamikaze thing is a real red flag. With some white stuff on it as well. Wow.
A little red dot flag.
Wow. Astonishing story. Very strange.
Yeah. Have you got another?
Oh, yeah. I was actually going to tell you a story about porn before we continue. Years ago at the Edinburgh Festival,
I starred.
Yes. I starred in Up Your Kilt 4. Up Your Kilt 4.
What was it for?
It was I starred in Up Your Kilt 4. Eat my haggis, Maureen. Gee that up, you nasty tutor. That was underneath, you know what I mean? That's how you know it's a classy one, eh?
Yeah.
Where it's got a subtitle.
You take the kids do it.
Yeah, exactly. Gee that up, you nasty tutor. God, please, Lord, please never let the Scottish people make pornos.
No.
Please no.
No.
Sadly, there was, for a while, it didn't take off for obvious reasons. There was a nascent porn industry in Ireland. There was Irish porn. Ooh. Yeah, I know. And it was called leper porn.
Ah, lovely.
Lovely. Try and find my cock of gold, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just gonna get a lot of people. Is this where the leper porn comes from? No. It's a play on leper. Oh, it's no, thank you.
You'll find the leper porn is at the end of the shame bow. I have an insane story to finish. This is Bonkers. This is borderline absolutely nuts. So, in America, there's an elite group of universities known as the Ivy League.
Yeah.
Right? And probably the two most famous ones, the arch rivals away, there's Oxford and Cambridge in England. There is Harvard and Yale.
That's right.
Right. So in Yale, there is a secret society. Mm-hmm. There's three of them. The three secret societies. Been around since the 1820s.
Not doing a great job of it because you know about them.
Boy, oh boy, they're not hiding. They're secret, but they're not hiding. Because there's an organisation called the Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
Right? Which many ex-presidents attended, were members of. Taft was. John Kerry, who was the Democratic nominee in 2004, was. George Bush Jr. was. George Bush Sr. was.
Yeah.
Right? We'll come back to that in a second. Right? Just park that there. So there was loads of people. And their symbol is a skull and bones. And their headquarters looks like an Egyptian sarcophagus. And it's simply known as the tomb. Right? The people who are, if you're a member, the organisation is known as the Order, or the Order 322, or simply the Brotherhood of Death.
Wow.
And if you're a member of the Skull and Bone, you were known as a bonesman. And your headquarters is the tomb. and it's been a lightning rod for conspiracy theories since it started, because it's extremely secret, it's extremely elite. Many presidents, many industrialists, diplomats.
I'm not comfortable with it.
They've been there for years and years and years. At the very, very top. They have their own private island.
They've never done well with those. It's always become a problem.
Oh no, the bear's got his hand in the honey pot again.
Yeah. Didn't we explicitly not tell you not to have private islands? Oh, sorry, we thought you said to. Oh,
yeah. It's called Deer. It's called Deer Island, and it's in the middle of the Lawrence River. There's ideally they take in, I think, 15 people a year. It's like properly elite as it gets. Right. One of them has to be the head of the campus newspaper, the Yale Review, whatever it's called.
Okay.
It would be typically the captain of the football team, somebody who's got a radical political views, and I had to look up what this meant. This was a list of the people that were suitable for candidature. I don't think that's a word, but candidacy of the Skull and Bone to become a bonesman. Yeah, one of the easiest ways to get in is to be a member of the Whiffin Poofs.
That's where they get all their bones.
Have you any idea what a Whiffin Poof? Any guess what
I've been propositioned a few times.
I guarantee you will not guess what a Whiffin Poof is.
It sounds like something that happened to the people who all fell in the poo.
Yeah, exactly how it began. Because it is Yale's on-campus a cappella group. I know. La, 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 la.
Luck be a lady, luck be a lady, luck be a lady
tonight. Gather around, gentlemen. It's time for the Whiffin Poofs. 7 of the most hunky men on campus. Singing, singing, singing. Yeah. I love them. Just once the Whiffin Poofs just really lost their shit. Started trashing the campus. Please, everybody remain inside until we've finally curtailed the hijinks of the Whiffin Poof. I mean, even whenever the Whiffing Poofs began, surely somebody must have said something.
And that person's dead now.
That's right. Chet, I gotta say, I don't really think this name is the one for us. But nevertheless, this is the sort of...
Taking the ornamental rifle out of the wall. Say it again. Say it again.
Nothing.
That's what I thought. Back up it goes.
Oh, yeah. So, they, Mason style, they have all sorts of secret ceremonies. Right, this is how secret Skull and Bone is, and how seriously the Bonesmen take maintaining the secrets of the order, right?
Yeah.
In 2004, both the Democratic and Republican candidates for the American presidential election, George Bush Jr. and John Kerry, as I mentioned already, they were both Bonesmen, and they were asked by the New York Times, Washington Post, and all the mainstream media about what's that all about? Both of you are in a secret society. It's got a skull on the door, and it's called a tomb. Like, is there anything you need to tell us about that? And both John Kerry and George Bush Jr. went, no, it's a secret. And that was the debate on it closed. That is, and yet people think, I don't know, people think a lot of rumors swirl around campus about the Bonesmen.
So did that mean that in the debate, if somebody had phrased the question correctly, that
just a key would have turned?
No, but could John Kerry and George Bush sang a duet?
I don't know whether they were both whiffing poofs. Yeah. I know. Well, maybe that's how George Bush Jr. got in. I mean, his dad was in, and I'm going to tell you more in a second about more of his ancestry. But famously, George Bush Jr. was a cheerleader.
That's what So that's what I'm thinking. He's a whiff and poof.
Maybe he was a whiff and poof.
And they both sang, yeah. If forced, they could sing Hall & Oates songs in the style of barbershop quartets. She's a maniac. Maniac for sure. Yeah, well, when would they have been in Yale? The 70s?
Yeah. It would have. Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, they would have.
60s.
Do they come back? Like, are they always sitting there, or is it just the youngsters, and then they're always in the like? How often do the alumni?
They all gather on the island together on Deer Island
every year.
Apparently, yeah, they've a meet up once a year where all the alumni gather. There's maybe 600-700 of the order, Bonesmen.
Wow.
Apparently it's all changed now. There was for the last 3 years no Conservatives have been elected, and 2 years ago was the first all non-white intake.
Oh,
there you go. But it took a long time it was in the 1980s they put forward the idea of letting women join the Skull and Bone, and
3 of them died immediately.
They just they changed the locks. Seriously, that's what they did. And if you see the tomb, like, it wouldn't be like a, you know what I mean? A giant golden key. This wasn't, you couldn't get like a dude in a van to show up in 20 minutes or your money back.
The president changed the locks.
So mote it be, the mighty key. So that's just, that. All of that nonsense so far is just background for what I'm about to tell you.
All right.
George Bush Jr., George Bush Sr., both presidents of the United States. The grandfather, Prescott Bush, was a United States senator. He was
embarrassing for them.
Ugh, gross. So low status.
We don't talk about him.
Prescott Bush made a lot of his money wheeling and dealing in oil and other things like that. And there's always been rumours floating around that he may have done business with the Nazis in the 30s.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that was just the 30s. They hadn't done anything wrong yet. That's fine.
But that's not even the story that I'm going to tell you. Oh no, they were shit right from the start.
Oh yeah. I'm not defending the Bush family or the Nazis on this.
Good. Very good. I approve of your gesture.
Yeah, as a special gift to you.
So here's the crazy thing, right? Here's the crazy bit. There has always been rumours that in 1908, when Prescott Bush was a young man and a bonesman, right, he had led a raiding party of his fellow bonesmen, right, to dig up the body of Geronimo, the legendary Apache chief. He is the reason why American kids in 1950s movies run down a hill going, Geronimo!
And what was the safe word of all these guys?
It's so crazy. So there's for the last 15 years, Geronimo's family and the Apache Nation full stop have been trying to find out whether it's true. Right? The Prescott Bush, he took the skull, they washed the skull out, this is rumoured, washed the skull out, and that every year in ceremonies they drink out of Geronimo's noggin.
Was it eggnog? Anybody else like a scoop of eggnoggin?
Eggnog in this one. There's a real spicy ethnic story to this one, boys. Yeah. But so you go, all right, so there's a really high-profile organisation. There are lots of very powerful business and political elite and thought leaders and whatnot attend. It's super secret and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And there's rumours that one of their former members dug up a famous Native American warrior, and now they use his head as a goblet. Right? Right?
Yeah.
You go, right, okay then. What's their answer? The answer from Skull and Bone is, well, I mean, we don't think that's true. But I mean, we do have a skull in a case just in the hallway as you go into the tomb. And we do call him Geronimo. What?
Is it the skull and the headdress? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Oh, yeah, that's the one. How astonishing is that? And Geronimo's family and the Apache Nation are always going, is there any chance we could do a DNA test on that skull? And they're like,
no, it doesn't have any DNA. That's,
no. Boys, bring up the whiffin' poofs. I think you fellas from the frontier land, I think what you'd appreciate is a rejection in...
Yeah.
Song.
Yeah, and yeah, the Skull and Bones people think we should give them a skull to check. Yeah, I think we should. We do have a skull you can look at. Just give us a little minute. And then the door closes, and then you just hear a ceremony starting. What is this? The ceremony to give the skull back? Oh, we're giving a skull back, John. Don't you worry about that.
Tobias, have you ever thought of changing your name to Geronimo?
You'll go down in history, son.
Wow. I just couldn't. As I read it, I was like, this can't. You know what I mean? It seems like something from the nether regions of the internet. But I read about it. It was in the New York Times. It's like, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, they really think it's Geronimo's noggin.
I would lose money if it's not. That, because those aren't the kind of guys that would just like to pretend they had Geronimo's head.
No, they're not. They're not like,
because even if that is how it started, they would just, somebody would show up with Geronimo's actual head, and then they'd get a special song written about them by the Whiffin' Poofs, and then everybody would have to sing it and stuff. So, yeah, those aren't the kind of people that settle for second best.
They're not settling for plastic skulls.
Yeah. Somebody showed up with Sitting Bull's skull once, and they were like, "Excuse me, take it away.
Take it away.
Take it away."
Tink, tink, tink. I'm sorry. This is a fugazi. You've brought a fake skull to the party. Well, that's history. And you know what? I'm glad it's in the past.
Yeah.
It's quite ghoulish.
Yeah. And I'm glad that we know about it, because now we don't have to repeat it.
Mm-hmm. Skulls stay where they're meant to be.
Yeah.
Poo stays where it's meant to be. Opera houses are in the shape of opera houses, not shells, god damn you.
And our porn stars don't have to try and kill politicians for us.
No. You don't need to do that anymore, fellas.
Yeah.
Very
but
good.
if Stormy Daniels wants to take Trump out, I'm not going to stop her.
If she wants to lop his noggin off and put it in a dusty old cage, that's the case. That's also fine with me.
Bring a big saw, Stormy.
So that is the finale of our second ever history episode on the Eejits of the World. Thank you so much for listening. New episodes of Eejits of the World are every Wednesday and on YouTube every Saturday morning. So you can either listen to us, you can look at us, and listen to us.
Yeah, why don't you listen on Wednesday and then go, I wonder what their eyebrows were doing, and then find out on Saturday.
Oh yeah, they will dance for you, my love. Please like and subscribe, tell your friends, all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
We need it. It's important.
Start a Patreon for us and put money in it.
Just throw coins at us when you see us.
Yeah.
Reach into your velvet purses and throw ducats at us.
Please.
Please throw ducats at us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a Pod People production.
A Pod People production.
Been a Pod People production.